Headlining UFC 327 in Miami for the vacant light heavyweight championship is probably one of the most interesting stylistic matchups the UFC could make as of today. On one side, you have Jiri Prochazka, who relies on chaos, pressure, volume, and unpredictability. But across from him at UFC 327 is one of the most composed, calculated strikers in the division in Carlos Ulberg. So, without further ado, let's break this down. First, let's talk about Jiri. Jiri isn't a technical striker in the traditional sense. He more so likes to create chaos, but with intent. You know, he's always constantly applying forward pressure. He likes to create weird angles and awkward entries. His hands are always low. His chin is high, and he just overall really just relies heavily on his instincts and reaction and his power. You know, he doesn't fight like anyone in the UFC. Not even just in the UFC, anybody ever. I don't think you could. I think you could go country to country and not find. You won't find anybody in any country anywhere. There's nobody that fights like Jiri Prochazka. He is truly one of one. Jiri's fighting style is just like controlled madness, and I think that's what makes him so dangerous because he's always creating moments. He doesn't wait. He forces you to exchange, and he just drags you into his fight and makes you fight at his pace. But where I have a problem with that is that against clean, disciplined kickboxers or just any strikers in general, that style starts to kind of break down. He got KO'd twice by Alex Pereira, and I think those fights really just showed a clear blueprint in my opinion. Like I said, I think against really good kickboxers, really against anyone, Jiri gets hit a lot. He gets hit a lot on entries, and he struggles with distance management against elite strikers. I wouldn't say Khalil Rountree an elite striker, but I'll say he's like very good. He's like, borderline elite. You know what I'm saying? But before that, and he knocked out Khalil. In that fight, he was down. He was down in that fight. Khalil was beating him to the punch. He was landing cleaner, and he was just controlling the range until he just gassed out and Jiri took over and knocked him out. But I think that the blueprint is there. I think if you're technical, composed, and you don't break under pressure, I think you can hurt Jiri, bro. And I think that's exactly what Ulberg is. Ulberg is almost the complete opposite of Jiri. He has clean, technical kickboxing with really good and disciplined and just quick footwork. He fights off center lines. He doesn't overextend. He's not there just, sprawling and brawling. He's not just sitting there trading. Man, I think one of the most dangerous shots that he has is that check left hook. I think that's so dangerous against Jiri for a few reasons. First, being that the fact that Jiri, he just enters on like weird looping lines because his chin is often exposed, or because he doesn't really reset after he throws punches. Go back and watch any Jiri fight, bro. I promise I love Jiri so much, bro. He does not reset at all, bro. I love Jiri so much, bro. He literally just goes into fights and he just be button mashing, bro. Like, he just be throwing shit up, but he don't really be like just throwing shit up. It's like I said, it's controlled madness. Like, he knows what he's doing, and it's just like nobody else can replicate it, bro. He is truly one of what I really like, bro. When Jiri retires, bro, we're never gonna see a character like him. Like, I was watching an interview from him. Like, I had on 2 watches. And it low-key looked like he tried to flex the 2 watches, bro, because out of nowhere, like, mid-conversation, this guy just starts rubbing his face out of nowhere, flexing the both of the watches, bro, looking like LeBron in that one picture where he's peeking out, bro.
UFC 327 in Miami against Carlos Ulberg for the vacant UFC light heavyweight title. Jiri, first of all, how are you? How is Miami treating you? Because I know you've been out.
We kind of argue that Yuri's awkward rhythm makes him harder to time, and I think that's a fair point because at the end of the day, you're just as right as me, and I just want to take a moment to talk about that because these are simply predictions, bro. There's 2 sides of the coin. There's 2 fighters that we could pick. There's a 50-50 chance you're going to be right. So when people are like, bro, this guy seriously thought Islam was going to be Elliot's burger, bro. Thought Islam was going to be Elliot's burger, bro. Are you serious? This guy knows nothing. When it's literally a prediction, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We do not know what's going to happen when those guys get in there, bro. We don't. The best we can do is just look at both of the guys' former fights and just make an educated guess. But trying to shame somebody over their prediction is just the lamest shit ever. I'm not gonna lie, and that's why people be making like predictions. No, like this is not no shot at anybody that's making those videos. That's making like the keeping up with the prediction stuff. But you know what I'm saying, it's like, what are we doing, bro? Like everybody's gonna be right, everybody's gonna be wrong. Like it's whatever, bro. It's like 12, 13 fights per card. Bound to be right, bound to be wrong on some of them. Now, let's get back to this breakdown. I think it's very important to note that Carlos Ulberg isn't just a stationary counter striker. If you look at how he knocked out Dominic Reyes, he slips off the center line, creates a new angle mid exchange, and landed clean before Dominic Reyes could even react. And trust me, I hate to Corey Nerdhagen out right here, but that's insanely high level striking, bro. I really wish we could have seen him versus Pereira. Like, even though it's a high risk, low reward fight for Alex Pereira, that fight would have been a banger. Talk about some keys to victory. Starting off with Jiri. If Jiri is gonna win this fight, he has to create chaos early. It's non-negotiable, bro. It's non-negotiable. Jiri thrives. We all know he thrives when the fight is messy. If he can force Carlos Ulberg into awkward positions or brawls, he increases his chances of winning this fight before Carlos Ulberg even settles into his rhythm. Jiri also has to close the distance safely. Jiri, he can't just run at Ulberg, just complete blindly, just in a straight line. I think Ulberg's lateral movement and his counters will punish him every time he overcommits. Every time there's an overcommitted entry, he is going to punish him. Jiri has to disguise his entries with feints, body shots, and sudden shifts in angles and just mix it all up. Along with that, Jiri might have to mix in the clinch and dirty boxing. Ulberg is a technical striker. He wants to fight at range. We all know this. But I think Jiri can neutralize that advantage by cutting off the cage, using his elbows, uppercuts, and just any short range power shots. Next up, I kind of touched up on this a little bit, but bringing it back up, I think Jiri needs to control the range and the pace. He needs to dictate where this fight happens. He needs to dictate what type of fight this is. I think if Ulberg can force a technical, measured striking match, Jiri's wild style becomes a liability. But lastly, and probably most importantly, he has to be ready for counters. Ulberg will be looking for overcommitted entries. Like I said earlier, he's going to be looking for any openings he can find. And Jiri just has to avoid predictable patterns. His weird, looping style helps a little bit. Not even a little bit, a lot. But he still has to protect himself, and he has to keep his chin off the center lines. I know he's going to fight with his hands down. I get it. I think nobody's going to change that. But he has to make sure his chin is off the center line. First key to victory I have for Carlos Ulberg is maintaining distance and angles. This is Ulberg's bread and butter. He absolutely has to stay off the center line, avoid straight on exchanges, and punish Jiri when he lunges in or throws wide, meaty hooks. Now, before I tell you guys my prediction, let's go over some essential questions and some things to watch out for. The first question I have for, let's start with Jiri. Jiri, what happens when his chaos doesn't just immediately create openings? Jiri's game is completely built on forcing reactions, but I don't think Ulberg is the type to overreact or panic. Like, I just don't see it. So I think the real question then becomes, is if Ulberg just stays disciplined and gives him nothing, does Jiri have a plan B? Against Alex Pereira, once the chaos got neutralized and, Pereira wasn't like really falling for it. He wasn't really falling for it. Jiri started eating clean shots, trying to force entries, and got tagged up. And eventually, he got coated, bro. He got knocked out twice. The question I have for Jiri is, can he adjust mid-fight, or does he just double down? That's kind of tying into the first one. But if you go rewatch his fights, you realize he does not make small technical adjustments at all, bro. If something goes wrong, bro, he just ramps up the insanity. And that works against guys who can break, no disrespect, like Khalil Roundtree. The question I have for Jiri is his chin still good? And was Pereira just an anomaly? Or does Khalil and Jamal Hill just not have the power that, we thought they had? Jiri's style depends on being able to take damage, but he's been dropped and hurt multiple times. He's been finished by Pereira twice, like I've mentioned multiple times. And like I said multiple times, he was getting pieced up by Khalil Roundtree. People forget, man. People forget. But I don't know, man. I'm just wondering, at what point does that what point does that durability crack? Like we're seeing it now with Max Holloway, where it's like, all right, bro, Max Holloway has got dropped or rocked at every single one of his fights at 155 so far. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, bro. But I'm just wondering, can Yuri eat five decent to good clean strikes from Ulberg, like to his chin, like clean? Not obvious, not like clean, like his hands are down. Ulberg just hits him with a meaty hook right to his button. Like, okay, obviously he's gonna go out, but I'm saying like a decently clean strike. Last question for Yuri is: can he cut off the cage efficiently against someone who moves as good as Ulberg? Yuri is a pressure forward fighter. We all know this. That's not up for debate. But pressure isn't the same thing as cutting off the cage. Ulberg likes to move laterally and reset constantly. If Yuri can't trap him and make his back touch that fence, I think this just turns into Yuri getting pieced up while he's chasing Carlos Ulberg. Talking about Carlos Ulberg, let's just start with him. My first question is: can he maintain discipline under prolonged chaos? It's easy to look clean when your fights are controlled and fought at the pace that you want them to be fought at. But Yuri just doesn't allow that. He's going to, like we all know. He knows this. I've been watching his interviews. He knows he's going to try to pressure him and make this a scrap. So I'm just wondering what happens when the fight gets messy for 2 to 3 straight minutes. Does Ulberg stay sharp and composed, or does he get dragged into a dogfight, lose his structure? Because we all know that if he starts brawling, he's playing Yuri's game, and we could see Yuri get this. Well, Yuri could actually go like Yuri could get him out of there. The question for Carlos Ulberg is defensively responsible after he throws the shots. Ulberg is clean offensively. We all know this. But Yuri punishes guys in transition. After Carlos Ulberg lands a shot, does he exit safely, or does, Yuri find a way to catch him in those moments? That's where Yuri makes this a dogfight between the exchanges. So if Carlos Ulberg is leaving those exchanges with his hands down or some shit, Yuri could blitz him and really hurt him. And that kind of ties into my next question for Carlos Ulberg, which is, can he handle getting hit clean? Just like I asked for Yuri Prochazka. It's going to happen. Yuri lands on everybody. We haven't really seen Carlos Ulberg forced to recover under that kind of pressure since his fight with Kennedy and Zechchiku, where he got KO'd after he was getting put on that back foot. But he's a whole new fighter now, so I'm interested to see, does he stay composed or does he mentally reset and become more hesitant. My last question for him though is, will he commit to those counters or will he play it too safe? There's a risk on both sides. We both know, bro. We know both these guys got power. Both these guys have crazy power in their hands. We know that. If Carlos Ulberg is too aggressive, though, he could get dragged into a dogfight. But if he's too passive, Yuri builds momentum. Builds momentum up. Just had like a stroke in here. But yeah, he has to find like a balance where he's not he's not, you know, over over committing, but he's still punishing him for his entries. And that's not necessarily easy to do against a guy like Jiri. Now let's quickly go over some things that you should watch out for, just so you know what to look at while you're watching this. And you can just LARP to your friends at your watch party, like you're just some fucking genius. For Jiri, the first thing I got that you need to watch out for is his entry patterns. Is he entering with variation, or is he just repeating the same blitz over and over? If it's repetitive, I think Ulberg will start to, find his timing, find his range, and potentially clip him. Next one for Jiri that I got written down is, I think we need to watch out how he reacts to getting countered. Does he reset and adjust, or does he immediately re-engage recklessly? Next one. I'm telling you, I'm speed running these. Next up is his distance management. Is he forcing close range, or is he getting stuck at that mid range, which is more of Carlos Ulberg's world? Lastly, for Yuri Prohaska is gonna have to be his body language. Is he still loose and flowing, or is he starting to tense up and hesitate? If Yuri starts hesitating, his whole style falls apart. That's what we seen in that first round when he fought Alex Pereira the second time, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was the second time. The one that he got head kicked in. The whole first round, he was kind of scared of getting countered, that he would hesitate, and he just wouldn't fight the way he usually does. So let's move on to Carlos Ulberg. The first thing you want to watch out for is his foot positioning. Is he circling away or to Yuri Prohaska's power side? Is he resetting in center lines, or in drifting, or is he drifting to the cage? I think if his back touches the fence consistently, like multiple times in each round, boy, it's out the mud. Next thing to keep an eye on for Carlos Ulberg is his exit discipline. After combinations, is he angling out of the exchange, or is he, just staying in front of Yuri? That's really important. Next question, probably the most important thing to keep an eye on for Carlos Ulberg is his composure and extended exchanges. The first 30 seconds is so easy to look good in, but how is he going to look in minute 3 of a crazy third or fourth round? Now, time for my prediction. I'm going to be honest. Yuri is dangerous. Early, we know this. But I feel like the longer it stays technical, the worse it gets for him. I think Carlos Ulberg is just a cleaner, I don't know, man. He's just a cleaner striker. He's more efficient. He's more disciplined. He's more defensively sound. And I just believe that he's going to chew up that lead leg, man. That leg is beat up. That leg is chewed up, man. And he's just going to make Yuri switch from southpaw to conventional, where I don't know, man. I don't see people talking about it that much. I don't think Yuri's like as good when you make him fight conventional. You know what I mean? But even when he switches to conventional, bro, we are going to chew that leg up, bro. That leg is done, man. He's walking funny on that leg. But nah, man, I think he's gonna. Leg kicks are gonna be very important in this fight for Carlos Ulberg. I think he's gonna, like I said, no Joe Rogan maxing, but he's gonna chew up that leg. He's gonna try to just affect Yuri's movement, and I just think that eventually Yuri's openings are gonna be there, and I think Carlos Ulberg catches him, bro. I think Carlos Ulberg catches him. I see a round 2, round 3 KO, bro. And trust me, I love Yuri. He's probably my favorite fighter in light heavyweight history. I'm so serious. But I can't just pick out a bias, because, like, in my heart, this is what happened the last time I doubted Carlos. Or I didn't even doubt him. I knew he was going to beat Dominic Reyes. But in my heart was telling me Dominic Reyes. But my brain was telling me Carlos Ulberg. Now my heart is telling me Yuri Prohaska. But my brain is telling me Carlos Ulberg. Know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you guys got and why? And yeah, man, do all that YouTube shit. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
I'm coming!